Today is Wednesday, January 21st, 2026. Prayer for every mother worried about her children in 2026. Don't scroll. Please don't scroll. This message is for you, and yes, you, the mother whose heart has been heavy lately, the one who woke up this morning pretending to be strong but secretly carrying fear about her children into 2026. Listen to this because your heart needs this right now, and the universe does not make mistakes, especially not on Wednesday, January 21st, 2026. And if you found this message at this exact moment, it's because something divine is reaching for you, tapping you on the shoulder, saying, "Mom, I see you." Because you've been praying quietly, worrying loudly in your mind, and loving so deeply that it sometimes hurts. And you've been asking questions like, will my child be okay? Am I doing enough? Did I miss something? What if I can't protect them from what's coming? And listen. This is not coincidence. This is confirmation. This is a prophetic interruption, because the universe chose you for this message. And before you brush this off, pause, breathe, and feel this in your spirit, because the anxiety you've been carrying didn't start yesterday. It's been building for months, maybe years. And no one really talks about how heavy a mother's love can feel when the world looks uncertain, when news headlines are loud, when society feels unstable, when your child is growing faster than your ability to shield them. And yet here you are, still loving, still praying, still showing up, still hoping, even when fear whispers lies at night. And I need you to hear this clearly. Your worry is not weakness, it's evidence of deep love. But the universe doesn't want you drowning in fear anymore, not in this season, because something is shifting behind the scenes that you can't see yet. And if you've been seeing signs lately, angel numbers like 1111 when you check the clock, 222 on license plates, 444 showing up everywhere. Those are not random. Those are messages meant to calm your spirit, reminders that you are supported, protected, and guided. Because right now, angels are being assigned not just to you, but to your children. And you may not know this, but your prayers have created a spiritual covering around them that fear cannot penetrate, even when your mind tells you otherwise. And listen closely, because this part matters. What you're feeling right now is not just worry. It's intuition mixed with exhaustion. It's the weight of responsibility mixed with love. And the universe is saying, "Mother, rest your heart. Because your child's path in 2026 is already being aligned in ways you couldn't plan even if you tried." Conversations are being arranged. People are being removed. New connections are being prepared. And yes, even soulmate-level relationships, whether friendships or future partners, that will help guide, protect, and awaken them to who they truly are. And you've been asking God to surround them with the right people, and that prayer is being answered slowly, intentionally, divinely, even though your eyes can't see it yet. And I know there are nights you replay conversations in your head wondering if you said the wrong thing, if you were too strict, too soft, too busy, too tired. But listen. Your love planted seeds that are still growing, even underground, even in silence, even when it feels like nothing is happening. And here's the part that might bring tears to your eyes. Your child is stronger than you think, more protected than you realize, and more connected to divine purpose than your fear allows you to believe. And the universe is asking you right now, in this exact moment, to release just a little bit of control, just a little bit of fear. Because what's coming in 2026 is not meant to break your family. It's meant to refine it, strengthen it, awaken it. And yes, there will be moments that test your faith, but there will also be moments that restore it completely, moments that make you whisper, "Okay, now I understand." And if your heart is racing right now, if your chest feels tight, if your eyes are welling up, that's because this message is touching something real inside you, something sacred, something the universe has been waiting to soothe. So don't scroll, don't rush, don't dismiss this. because this is only the beginning, and what's about to be revealed next may change how you see your child, your fear, and your future forever. Listen to this, mother, because this message is still unfolding and it's going deeper now. And if you felt something shift in your chest during the last part, that wasn't imagination, that was recognition, because the universe is speaking directly to the part of you that has been holding everything together while feeling like you might fall apart. And I need you to stay with me. Don't scroll, don't look away. Because this part is for the nights when your house is quiet and your thoughts get loud. When you replay every decision you've ever made as a mother and wonder if it was enough. When guilt sneaks in and tells you stories that aren't true. And you carry worry not just for today but for tomorrow, for next year, for 2026, and especially for the world your children are stepping into. And let me say this slowly so it settles into your spirit. You were chosen to be their mother for a reason, not by accident, not by chance, not because you were perfect, but because your soul was equipped for this assignment. And even on days you feel exhausted, irritable, or unsure, your presence alone has been a stabilizing force in your child's life. Even when they don't say it, even when they push back, even when they act like they don't need you. And the universe wants you to know that your love has been working silently, invisibly, powerfully, creating an inner voice inside your child that will guide them when you are not in the room. And you may not see the results yet because growth doesn't always announce itself. Sometimes it happens in private, sometimes it happens through struggle, and sometimes it happens through mistakes that teach lessons no lecture ever could. And here's where I need you to breathe again. Your child's missteps are not failures, they are part of the unfolding, part of the spiritual curriculum that will awaken them to their own strength. And you've been worried that the world is too harsh, too confusing, too dangerous. But what you don't see is that your child is developing discernment, resilience, and wisdom in real time, guided by both your prayers and divine protection. And if you've been asking why things seem delayed, why certain doors haven't opened yet, why answers feel slow, it's because the universe is protecting them from paths that would have drained them, distracted them, or broken their spirit. And yes, there have been moments when you felt helpless, when you wished you could do more, say more, be more. But listen, there is a higher intelligence at work here, aligning timing, removing wrong influences, and preparing the right environments for your child to thrive. And this is where the signs come back in. Because those angel numbers you keep seeing are reminders that you are not meant to carry this worry alone, that support is surrounding you, that unseen hands are steadying what you cannot control. And I know you've felt it in flashes. Those moments of sudden calm, those intuitive nudges, those random reassurances that come out of nowhere, that's divine communication, that's the universe saying, I've got them. And here's something you may not expect. The season your child is entering in 2026 is one of awakening, not just externally but internally, where they begin to question, reflect, and align with who they truly are. And this awakening may not look how you imagined. It may come through changes, through new relationships, through letting go of old identities. But it will ultimately lead them closer to purpose. And yes, soulmate-level connections will play a role here. People who recognize their spirit, who encourage growth instead of chaos, who feel familiar in a way that can't be explained. And you've been praying for the right people to find them. And those prayers are being answered layer by layer. And I need you to hear this part carefully. Your worry has not sped things up, but your faith will soften the journey. And the universe is inviting you to release some of that fear, not because it doesn't matter, but because it's no longer serving you. And as you release it, something inside you begins to heal too, because motherhood was never meant to be lived in constant anxiety. It was meant to be lived in trust, love, and divine partnership. And if your heart feels tender right now, if your eyes are heavy, That's because this message is touching the truth you've been carrying silently. And we are not done yet, because what's coming next is the part that will change how you see the future you've been so afraid of. Stay with me, Mother, because this is where the message begins to shift from comforting to revelation, and I need you to listen to this part slowly, deeply, because what I'm about to say is not surface-level reassurance, it's destiny-level truth. And if you've felt a strange mix of fear and anticipation lately, like something big is coming but you can't quite name it, that feeling is real, and it's not anxiety, it's awareness. Because the universe has been preparing you for a turning point that involves not just your child, but the entire emotional landscape of your family. And I know you've been sensing it in subtle ways, in dreams that linger when you wake up, in sudden emotions that come out of nowhere, in moments when your heart tightens for no obvious reason. And listen, those are not random sensations, those are spiritual signals that a chapter is closing and another one is opening. And your child is standing right at the edge of it. And this is why your worry has intensified. Because before alignment comes activation, and before clarity comes pressure. And the universe wants you to understand this so you don't mistake preparation for danger. Because what's unfolding in 2026 is not an attack on your child's future, it's a refinement of it, and I know that's hard to believe when all you want is certainty. When all you want is assurance that nothing will ever hurt them. But growth doesn't come wrapped in guarantees, it comes wrapped in guidance. And that's exactly what's surrounding your child right now, guidance you can't see but can absolutely trust. And here's something that might stop you in your tracks. Your child has a spiritual resilience that was shaped by your love, by the way you showed up even when you were tired, by the boundaries you set even when it made you the bad guy, by the prayers you whispered even when you weren't sure anyone was listening. And that resilience is about to be activated, because in 2026 your child will be faced with moments that require them to choose who they are becoming. And yes, that sounds scary, but it's also sacred, because these moments are what awaken purpose, and the universe does not awaken someone without also protecting them. And if you've been seeing feathers, hearing songs at the right moment, noticing repeated symbols, or feeling sudden peace after prayer, those are confirmations that angels are near, that your child is being watched over in ways that go beyond logic. And listen to this next part carefully, because this is where many mothers misunderstand the process. Your child may not always express their growth in ways that make you comfortable. Awakening can look messy before it looks miraculous. It can look like questioning, distancing, redefining, and even silence. But silence does not mean abandonment of values, it means integration. And the universe is asking you not to panic when things don't look the way you expected them to look. Because the path unfolding is not the one you imagined, it's the one they need. And here's where soulmate energy comes in. Because during this season your child will encounter soul-aligned people who mirror back their truth, who challenge them to rise instead of shrink, who feel familiar in a way that defies explanation. And these connections are not accidents, they are assignments, placed strategically to support their evolution. And you've been praying, God, send the right people. And the answer to that prayer is already in motion, but it requires trust, and trust is the hardest part of motherhood, because it asks you to loosen your grip without losing your love. And I know your mind keeps jumping to worst-case scenarios. I know fear tries to narrate the future for you, but the universe is gently asking you to stop borrowing pain from a future that hasn't happened. Because what's ahead is not collapse, it's clarity. And what's forming right now is not chaos, it's character. And here's the revelation your heart has been waiting for. Your role in this next chapter is not to fix, not to control, not to hover, but to anchor, to be the calm presence that reminds your child who they are when the world gets loud. And that anchor is more powerful than you realize, because it creates a safe place for them to return to, emotionally, spiritually, and energetically. And if you've been feeling called to pray differently, to speak differently, to listen more than you talk. That's intuition guiding you into alignment with this next phase. And mother, I need you to hear this clearly. Your fear is understandable, but it is not prophetic. Your love is prophetic. Your faith is prophetic. And the future forming around your child carries protection, purpose, and divine timing written all over it. And if your heart feels full and tender right now, if something inside you feels like it's cracking open, that's because this message is peeling back layers of fear you've been carrying alone. And we're not finished yet, because what's coming next is the confirmation you didn't know you were waiting for, the part where everything begins to make sense in a way that will calm your spirit like nothing else has. Stay right here, mother, because this part is not just about your child anymore. This is about you. And if your heart feels tired in a way sleep doesn't fix, if your soul feels stretched thin from years of loving, protecting, worrying, hoping, and praying, this is where the universe gently turns its attention toward your healing. And I need you to listen to this with softness, not urgency. Because what's unfolding now is reassurance layered with revelation. And if you've been feeling emotional for no clear reason lately, crying at random moments, feeling waves of release come out of nowhere, that's not weakness. That's stored fear finally loosening its grip. Because motherhood has asked you to be strong without ever asking how heavy it's been. And the universe sees that weight, honors that sacrifice, and is now saying, it's safe to exhale. Because here's the truth you haven't allowed yourself to fully accept. You were never meant to carry the outcome alone. You were meant to walk this journey in divine partnership. And somewhere along the way, worry tried to convince you that everything depended on you. Every choice, every protection, every result, and that pressure quietly wore you down. But listen closely now, because this is confirmation. You did your part, you planted the seeds, you built the foundation. You poured love where love was needed, and now the universe is stepping in to handle what comes next. And this transition can feel uncomfortable because control feels like safety. But trust is the real protection. And the universe is inviting you to move from fear-based vigilance into faith-based peace. And I know that sounds easier said than done, but here's how you'll know this shift is real. You will begin to feel calm even before circumstances change. You will notice moments where the anxiety doesn't hit as hard, where the spiral stops sooner, where you can say, they'll be okay, and actually believe it. And those moments are signs that something inside you is healing, that your nervous system is releasing years of tension, and that your spirit is remembering it was never alone. And mother, there's something else happening in 2026 that you haven't considered yet. Your child's growth is triggering your own awakening, because as they step into independence, you are being called into a new identity, one that is not rooted solely in worry or protection, but in wisdom, presence, and trust. And this doesn't mean loving them less, it means loving them differently. And that evolution is sacred, even if it feels unfamiliar. And here's where the universe sends you another sign. Pay attention to the conversations you'll have soon, the words people speak to you without knowing what you've been praying about, the messages that seem to arrive at the exact moment you need them, because these are confirmations stacking up, reminding you that you are supported, guided, and deeply seen. And I know part of you still fears that something could go wrong, that life could surprise you in painful ways. But hear this clearly. Whatever comes, you and your child will be equipped to face it, together and individually. Because resilience runs in your family line now, and it was strengthened by love, not fear. And here's the part that may bring a quiet peace to your heart. Your child's future does not depend on perfection, it depends on alignment. And alignment is already happening, step by step, moment by moment, even when you can't see the whole picture. And the universe is asking you now to release the guilt you've been carrying, the self-blame, the second-guessing, because none of that is needed anymore. It has served its purpose and can now be laid down. And if your chest feels lighter as you hear this, if your breathing slows, that's your body responding to truth, and we are approaching the final realization, the one that will stay with you long after this message ends. Because the peace you are beginning to feel is not temporary, it's the beginning of a new way of modeling, one rooted in trust, intuition, and divine assurance. And what comes next will seal this understanding in a way your heart will never forget. Stay with me just a little longer, Mother, because this part is the one your spirit has been leaning toward from the very beginning, the moment where the fear you've been carrying finally meets clarity. And I need you to listen without rushing, because revelation doesn't shout, it settles. And if you've been asking the universe for one clear sign, something undeniable, something that tells you, yes, my child will be okay, yes, I can finally breathe. This is where that answer begins to take shape, and I want you to notice how you feel right now, because that softening in your chest, that gentle release in your shoulders, that sudden quiet in your mind, that's not accidental, that's alignment, and the universe is saying, this is what trust feels like. And here's the truth that's been waiting patiently to be revealed. You are not late, your child is not behind, and nothing has gone wrong, even the detours, even the delays, even the moments you wish you could redo. All of it has been woven into a larger design that you couldn't see while you were inside it. And in 2026, you will begin to recognize the pattern, not all at once, but in flashes, in moments where something suddenly makes sense. Where you realize that what you feared would break them actually strengthened them, and what you worried would derail them actually redirected them towards something better. And here's where the promise comes in, because the universe does not reveal without reassurance. You will receive confirmation, and it will come in a way that feels personal, almost intimate, a conversation you didn't expect, a message at the perfect time, a change in your child's tone, a look in their eyes that tells you something has shifted. And when that moment comes, your heart will recognize it before your mind does, and you'll think, this is it. This is what I've been praying for, and I know part of you is afraid to hope, afraid to believe too fully in case you're disappointed. But listen, hope is not a setup for pain, it's an invitation for peace. And the universe is not cruel with hope, it honors it. And this is why you've been guided to this message now, before the sign fully manifests, so you'll be ready to receive it without fear. And Mother, I need to say something gently but clearly. You don't have to watch every step your child takes for them to walk in purpose. Your love has already taught them how to find their way back when they drift. And they will drift at times. That's part of becoming. But drifting does not mean losing direction, it means exploring it. And you've been confusing exploration with danger because fear has been narrating the unknown. But the universe is rewriting that story now, replacing fear with faith. And here's where soulmate energy comes back into focus, because in this season your child will align with someone, or several people, who feel like home to their spirit, connections that bring out truth, stability, and growth. And these relationships will act as mirrors, reflecting back the values you instilled even when you thought they weren't listening. And seeing this will be emotional for you, because it will feel like proof that your love mattered more than you ever knew. And I know you've been asking, when will I finally relax? When will I stop worrying like this? And the answer is closer than you think, because peace doesn't arrive all at once, it arrives in moments, and those moments are coming. And when they do, you'll notice that your prayers start to sound different, not desperate, not fearful, but grateful, calm, trusting. And that shift in you will ripple outward, affecting your child more than any warning or lecture ever could. And here's the final promise of this part. What's ahead will not erase all challenges, but it will bring understanding, and understanding brings peace, and peace brings strength. And you are stepping into that now, even if you can't fully feel it yet. And stay with me, because the final part will bring this entire message home in a way that will anchor your heart long after the screen goes dark. And now, mother, this is the moment where everything you felt while listening finally comes together. So don't rush past this. Don't let your mind wander. Because this is the sealing of the message, the part where the universe places its hand gently over your heart and says, "You are safe now." And if you've stayed this long, it's because your spirit needed this reassurance more than you realized. And I want you to hear this. Slowly, clearly, without fear clouding it. Your journey as a mother is not defined by how much you worry, it's defined by how deeply you love. And that love has already done more than you'll ever be able to measure. Because even when you thought your words weren't landing, even when you felt invisible or unappreciated, your presence created emotional safety that your child will carry for the rest of their life. And in 2026, that foundation will matter more than ever. Because the world may feel loud, unpredictable, and demanding, but your child has something many don't. A core that knows how to return to center, a soul that recognizes truth when it sees it, and a heart that knows what love feels like. And that did not happen by accident, it happened because of you. And I know there were seasons when you doubted yourself deeply, when you felt like you were guessing your way through motherhood, reacting instead of knowing. But hear this. Intuition has been guiding you the entire time, even when fear tried to drown it out. And now the universe is asking you to step fully into that intuition, to trust the calm voice instead of the anxious one. Because the anxious voice imagines danger everywhere, but intuition recognizes alignment. And alignment is exactly what's unfolding for your child. And this is why you're being called to release old habits of worry, because they belong to a past season when you had to protect more actively. But this new season requires something different. It requires trust, presence, and faith in the unseen. And that shift may feel uncomfortable at first, because fear has been familiar. But peace is waiting to become your new normal, and I need you to understand this deeply. Peace does not mean you stop caring, it means you stop suffering in advance. And the universe never intended for you to live in constant anticipation of pain. And as this message reaches its final moments, I want you to imagine something with me. Imagine your child surrounded by light. Not dramatic, not overwhelming, just steady, quiet protection. Imagine them making choices that align them closer to who they're meant to be. Imagine them learning from experiences without being broken by them. Imagine them finding people who see them, support them, and walk beside them with honesty and respect. And as you imagine this, notice how your body responds, because your body recognizes truth before your mind does. And that sense of calm you feel, that's resonance. And here is the blessing being spoken over you now. May your heart find rest where it has known tension. May your thoughts slow where they have raced. May your nights become peaceful again. May your prayers transform from fear-filled pleas into quiet conversations of trust. And may you recognize the signs when they appear. The numbers, the timing, the words spoken by strangers, the small moments that confirm you are not walking this alone. And mother, I want you to remember this one thing long after this message ends. Your child's life is not fragile, it is guided. And your love is not small, it is powerful. And the universe is not distant, it is involved. And as you move forward into 2026, when worry tries to return, pause and remember this moment. Remember how it felt to finally exhale, to finally feel seen, and choose to trust again. Because trust is not naive, it's courageous. And if this message reached you, it's because you are ready for that courage now. So take one more deep breath, place your hand over your heart if you can, and quietly affirm this truth to yourself. My child is protected. I am supported. And everything is unfolding as it should.